Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on September 19th, 2023 at approximately 4:25 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life, and the philosophies of life that I talk about are the philosophies I personally live my life by. Now, with this in mind, we're not talking about tools that may work. We're talking about tools that, as long as you're putting effort into them, they have worked literally for thousands of people, myself included. But it's up to you to put the effort in. Now, because this is Tuesday, at least I hope this is Tuesday, so I'm just going to double check that, or I really screwed things up. Today is Tuesday. Good. As per our earlier discussions, we are looking at the world of gaming and how it, quite literally, how it impacts on the physical world. Now, right off the bat, we have Eternity Eternal here with the gold, and Kevin Whippoff. You are in with the silver. Way to go. Yeah, I am really happy that you're choosing to share your time with me. We are currently at 547 subscribers. Now, gaming is kind of a weird setup. I had a girlfriend years ago that took a look at my gaming and the amount of gaming that I do. And she looks at me and she goes, you don't use gaming as a way of escaping. You don't use it as just an entertainment line. Joe, how you doing? You are in with the bronze. She goes, you use gaming to literally design your life. Now, I've noticed some really unfortunate comparisons and some really good ones. But, jump forward until just last year. Okay, now that was over a decade ago when that was pointed out. But we jumped forward to just a year ago. And I asked the current game master, I said, look, why is it that every single time I start a character, I end up building an empire? The guy never blinked. He looks at me and he goes, drive. Okay, it literally boils down to I look at the world and go, this is wrong. It's got to be done in a more efficient fashion. Well, I was game master from about 1981. About 1981 to 2018 when I had my stroke. At that point, not only did I lose my ability to use my left hand properly, I lost my emotional blockage ability and my ability to track a game properly for game mastering. Okay, now, just about a month ago now, might be that, I don't know, you guys remember when I was sick longer easier than I would, but go back about a month, for the first time in 25 years, I get ill. Okay, I get a cold. Okay, we gotta go back a little earlier than that. 2003, well, literally, January 3rd, try that again. Yeah, January 3rd of 04. Okay, at approximately 8 o'clock in the morning, I snapped my right arm. Okay, to the point they had to plate it back into place. Due to an overdose in anesthetic and morphine, okay, I ended up getting my color vision back. Now you jump to 2018, or you jump to just last year, or just a couple of months back. I get ill, and all of a sudden, my brain kicks back into gear. I'm able to game master again. But I noticed a couple of very important factors. And I'm going to give it a little bit of time to let people get in here. Okay, for those of you that know what gaming is, as in playing Dungeons and Dragons, playing any of the games, okay, even the online ones, I am not just talking about tabletop. Okay. But I have come to a very definitive understanding on the way things are working now. And that is, quite frankly, the people are really shifting things in their own favor. And we have to start looking in the mirror and going, is this the reality? Do you actually have that much control over your reality? Now, over the next little while, we're going to give that back to you. Or more to the point, we're going to open the doors up so you can reach out and go, that's how I can reclaim power over my own life. That's how I can use my imagination to attain the dreams I have. Okay. I'm not talking about walking down the same line everybody else does. Now, a buddy of mine, one day he coined it really beautifully. He goes, to know oneself is to know all. If you can figure out what drives you, by extrapolation, you can turn around and figure out what drives everybody else and literally everything else. Okay, because it really is all connected. Something tells me I better slow my brain down just a fraction. Bye, George. This is where getting organized comes in. Good. Remember I mentioned I was looking for a list? That's the list of live streams that I had. This is a bunch of extra information I require, but it's all hanging right here. Now, like I said, gaming and the real world actually overlap. Okay, and here's how. In the real world, in the material world, you turn around, you look at the way your life is going, and you look at what your opportunities are, and you go, this is what I'd like to do. And then you start working towards it. Okay. Now, you will run into obstacles. You run into challenges that other people throw at you. Maybe you're one of these people that turns around. Lord Rebeljack, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Maybe you are, by the way, Lord, I screwed that up, sort of. Eternity is in with the gold. Kevin Whippuff is in with the silver. Joe Stewart came in with the bronze, and Lord Rebeljack, you're here with honorable mention. Now, maybe you're one of these people that looks at the way your life is going, and you go, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's the higher power, whatever name you want to use. It's their fault, it's somebody else's fault. And I'm not, I kid you not, virtually everybody I talk to comes to the same conclusion. It's somebody else's fault. Now, the reality is you have a choice. You have a choice. Are you going to let your life go on the path somebody else dictates, or are you going to reclaim control over it now? Okay. Now, I know there's not many of you in the room, and I'm laying odds that you're not going to be able to answer this. Oh, shoot. Give me 10 seconds. I should have grabbed this. Yeah, I should have grabbed this. So since I didn't, you're going to have to bear with me. Okay. Now, wanted to grab these because, like I said, we're going to look at gaming itself. It's something you have to realize with gaming. Gamers will recognize this right off the bat. You know this as a standard dice. If you're a gambler, you'll recognize the paradise. Much different than the paradise I talk about. Bad picture in gambling. But we call them as just normal laymen. You refer to that as a dice. Ow. For gamers, this is a die 6. As you can see, it's got 6 sides, hence the term. Now, people talk about marbles being painful or Lego being painful. You want to try something painful to step on? Do not do this. Every gamer has done it at least once, I'm sure of it. Every tabletop gamer. This is a die 4. And if you'll notice, the thing is in a sense, kind of sharp. It's called a die 4 because it's got 4 sides. Now, this particular shape, on top of being painful to step on, because you'll notice this one, okay, this one is not pointed. It's still going to hurt. Then we get these type. These ones hurt even more. Yeah, that ain't going to work, so I'm just not going to spike them. I don't personally roll die 4s very often. But can you picture dropping this on the floor and stepping on it? Take a look at the point on that thing. But I will tell you, and this goes a little sideways on you, a 4-sided pyramid from a metaphysical standpoint has a much higher has a much higher energy level on it. Okay. And Adam, how you doing? Glad you could join us. So these are, now there's a painful little experience, also known as a poor man's calprop. That's another term from a different world. Okay, but now if we take, it is a curious way of looking at it. Okay, but if you take a look at a die 6, okay, now here's the way gaming works. Okay, we'll get to the actual campaign in just a little bit. And again, guys, if you have any questions as we go along, absolutely come right out and, absolutely ask. Even if we're not talking about that topic. Okay, put your question in the chat room in all caps. Okay, or partial caps, or at least a wavy hand. Something to get my attention that's an actual question and not just talking to each other. And do not get me wrong. Talking to each other in my world is not called being a troll. It's called community support. All caps in my stream literally means you're simply raising your voice so you can get heard. Okay. Primarily because I'm partially blind, I'm sure of it. Take a die 6. Okay, now I may be off on my memory, but if I recall correctly, the average number, if you take a die 6, well, if you do it this way, we'll do it the easy way, and we go 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 21. So if we go 21, by the way, 21 is the number of dots altogether on a die. There's 6 sides. So we divide that by 6. I was absolutely on the money. When we are gaming, at least in my campaigns, okay, with the group that I work with, we take 4 die 6. Okay. Now, let me ask if something seems a little off. Oh, chat etiquette is very overrated. And, I do agree with you. There is some etiquette. The reason I say put the questions in all caps is because, frankly, if you don't, I'm not seeing them. Now, if we take 1 die 6, the average number is 3.5. Okay, so, and this is what I want you to think about. When we're rolling up characters, each stat, we roll 4 die 6. Okay. So, but we roll 4 dice 6, and then we take the top 3. So we only have 3 of them. The average is 3.5. Multiply that by 3. Okay, because you got 3 dice. You now have 10.5. So let me ask you this. If your average is 10.5, yeah, it's called going back to basic math. Okay, and you get six statistics, aka strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Each one of those, your average roll, is going to be around 10, around 10.5. Okay, now I've got 3 gamers in my group right now. Okay, so we have a total of 18. Okay, and we've got a total of 18 sets of statistics, 6 per person. Now, if your average roll is 10.5, then how, out of, like, with just taking 2 of those characters into consideration, okay, so we only have 12. 1/3 of them, when they rolled them up, and this is 2 different players, between them, 1/3 of those rolls were 18 or 19. Now, does this sound like just a standard roll the dice on the table and take what comes? Or am I reading something a little wrong here? Because to me, it sounds like people are going, oh, I need this roll. So I'm going to roll and I'm going to adjust the dice so I get the top stat that I can get. Now, yes, higher stats are useful in gaming. Okay, but with that in mind, the moment you turn, like, again, what the way, can we try English? Or maybe only one thought at a time. The way a game works, the game master lays it out, and then the player and says, this is the way the world is. The players have to make decisions on what they're doing. Okay. But what happens is they turn around and the players go, well, what do I need to roll on this? And they roll and they go, oh, I made it. Okay, now, again, and I'm not going to work out the exact calculation. Probably should. Let's do it this way, just because I'm nosy. Take that. We go like this. What I'm actually doing here is setting up to give you another stat to come and that is usable all the time. Shadow, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, you'll actually be far better equipped to deal with this than some people will. But let us see here. Go all the way up to here. Take that. Well, that's wrong. Take that. Whoop. Bring that all the way to there. Back it off. Divided by 20. Whoop. Whoop. Oh, that's what we did wrong. That's right. Okay. Well, that's a cute little piece of information. Just double check that by tapping that off. We go, and that total 210 divided by 20. Of course, that would make total sense. Now, get this. Take that and divide by 20. Now, for those of you that are not aware of it, where is it here? This one. This is what we call a die 20. Die 20, as it implies, we have a dice. It has 20 sides. When you add all of it together, okay, the average number you're going to roll is 11. Okay, now as first level characters, you have, you have to be rolling a 20. You've got to usually be rolling at, if you're looking at unarmored people, 11 will do nicely for starting characters. But the odds drop as you go up. What do we got here? Oh, I've got the wrong chart. I've got the chart blocking everything off. Okay. If it's any consolation, Reproduction, the reason I'm giving you a crash course in this is because of what I've done with the campaign. I started a new campaign. Now I'm getting first level characters that are literally rolling multiple cases of 20 in a single game. Okay. Now, granted, it's a 1 in 20 shot. But if you're looking at a 1 in 20 shot of getting a critical hit, what you end up with is you end up with only a few critical hits. You get a lot more misses and what have you. I just worked out the stats from that standpoint. So what I've done is taken 3 characters without them knowing each other, drop them into a world they know nothing about, okay, to see what they do with it. As it stands right now, I've got one character that's doing his own thing. I've got another character that has a tendency of, doing some really weird maneuvers on occasion, just something out of the blue. Okay, so these guys are all dealing with a situation. They don't know what it is yet. What I've done is the gods have gotten involved. And just like you may feel in your life, somebody plunks you down into a world you know nothing about, and now you're trying to figure out how to make it happen. Okay, one of the characters, I've got a god that's playing havoc with him and just sending him little real odd things like encouraging him, that funny little voice in your head going, oh, jump off that building. Go ahead, jump off the building. You can fly. I want to watch this. Right? And, this one guy's got a god that's playing havoc with him. I've got another one that has decided he's driven by money. Okay. And the third one, well, he just does odd things just for the heck of it. Yes, no doubt there, Lord. Here's a neat little secret for all of you. I was told when I was growing up, many of you were told the same thing. You got to have your life in order. You got to have a plan by the time you're 20. How are we doing, Christy Abels? Glad you could join us. Now, here's the reality. With over 100,000 clients under my belt, I found that most people are in their late 50s to early 60s, or late 40s to early 50s, before they ever figure out what they want to do with their life. Now, frankly, by the time I figured it out, I was 55. Okay, I'm a slow learner. I now know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, now, something I do have to do here before I forget. Where are we? Shadow. Here we are. Now, this is the link to Shadow and Son's live stream. Drop in, give it a listen. If you like what he has to say, absolutely give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the daylights out of it. The reason being, he's got one heck of a good creative mind. And there's a whole lot of things that are going on with that. Yeah, you too. Did you ever learn to fall in line there, Lord Reproduction? Just a curiosity thing. I know my first job, I told my boss my first job out of the house, I told my boss, when you and your supervisor grow up and can get along, talk to me. Until then, I'm making my own rules. This was working for the second best country club in the country at the time. And at 18 years old, still wet behind the ears where it comes to working, I told my first boss, when you grow up, talk to me. Until then, I'm making my own rules. I've done that with every job all the way along. Okay, now I'm building my empire. Now I'm building a physical empire. Okay, and I am building a campaign. And here's what I've done. I've said, okay, you guys want this world. Well, they built their characters, but the stats that they've got are completely out of line. So I've just decided what I'm going to do is build backup characters. And if their characters die, I'm just going to go, here's what your character is. You figure out what you can do with it. Here's the stats, period. Not the skills. They get to pick those. Not to worry, I've only got a little bit of Coca-Cola and I got a gallon of coffee. Now, something I came to the conclusion of. Okay. And that is, if you desire your world to change, and again, this is going to sound really, really, really egocentric. Okay. You desire your world to change. Take a look at the world you're living in. Now, you have to play by the rules that are laid out for the world. Now, yes, they back... I forget who it was. Shadow, you're probably going to fill us in. There was a game that came out called The Game of Life. Okay. Now, it was a wonderful little game, and you had to make all sorts of dice rolls and what have you. Well, when we're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you grab dice. You roll them to make decisions, to figure out what you know. Yeah, Shadow and Sun goes, egocentric? Have you met me? That's like my other middle name. Here, I always thought it was my first name. Maybe we are related. In the game of life, you rolled your dice and you followed the rules of the game. In gaming, you roll your dice and you follow the rules of the game as of the world as the game master laid it out. In real life. Now, hopefully you haven't devolved to this. Now, I've seen some gamers. I actually knew a gamer that, I kid you not, these are die 10, okay? This dice, although it's in phenomenal shape, okay, you put two of these together, they either get called 2 die 10 or a percentile. Now, I will tell you this. If you take the roll of 50 and flip a coin, okay, a 1, the way I read it, a 1 is a really good idea. 0 is a really bad idea. I knew a gamer that literally somebody would ask him a question, what would you like to do today? Here's the two options. He'd go, this is what I'm doing. Now, yes, I'm a little off kilter, and I know for certain, and no offense intended there, Shadow. And there we go. Told you Shadow would come up with it for us. The Game of Life was created by Milton Bradley in 1960. Yeah, so my Lord Rebeljack. I take a look at that and I go, okay, what am I doing? And in life, you go, here's my options. What are the pros and cons? This is where logic, as in what makes sense, and instinct or emotion, what feels right, comes in. When these are two are out of balance, here's the key. Follow your heart, but use your head to get there. Okay, now you gotta follow the rules you've got to follow the rules as society's laid them out. You can certainly go against them if you don't mind vertical bar scenes, that sort of thing. Okay, well, I've been trying to do things, and by the way, bad idea, sets the stage for failure. I actually did a video on that a long time ago. But I tried fitting in. And of course, my current girlfriend looks at me and goes, why are you trying to fit in this lifetime? You have never done it in any lifetime prior. Right? So now I'm looking at it going, Well, what do we do? What do we do? Well, I called this the next campaign, like today's show. Okay, today's live stream, I called it the next campaign. What I didn't tell you is it's not just the next campaign in the gaming world. Now, here's where it sounds excessively egocentric. Okay, you desire control over your own life. Become your own God. Now, this does not mean you're better than anybody. It means you're in dominant control of your life. You make the decisions that you're going to follow. Now, do understand, you have free will, you have freedom of choice. You don't have freedom from consequence. Okay, so what I've done is I've said, okay, I've got the campaign set out. Now they got to figure out what they're doing. They're already separated. Okay, now, Shadow, you're probably best equipped to handle this. We had 3 characters. None of them knew each other to speak of. You know, none of them had any. Well, try English here. None of them had anything in common to speak of. One of the characters is a drow, and in the middle of a fight that was starting off, he cast a global darkness around the fight. But the way the game is set up, even he couldn't see in the global darkness. So he cast that over the fight. Okay, which, needless to say, killed gambling because nobody could see what was going on. The other character, who happens to be a gambler, okay, and has been playing very clearly on, I want money. You want something from me, I want money. Well, the one guy that cast the global darkness has now gone missing. He's also the guy that the gods are playing havoc with by egging him on. Absolutely correct, Lord Reproduction. And the funny thing is, it's not really that big of a secret. If you're Christian, it tells you right in the Bible, God created man in God's own image. This is inside and out, meaning you have the capacity to create the world you desire to create. You've got the capacity. You do not have the capacity to control what the guy next door to you does. But you can certainly lie to him, coerce him, egg him on, encourage him to do something stupid in your favor. Absolutely you can. And Lord knows, like the t-shirt that I bought a friend of mine, the t-shirt I bought him for Christmas last year said, God must love stupid people. He created so many of them. You desire control over your life. You turn around and go, I'm God of my own life. I'm master of my own destiny. Okay. Now, all of that paper that was behind me here, it's not all quite away yet, but I'm down to only 3 stacks out of 4 of folders that I have to go through right now. But I'm getting rid of everything that is no longer conducive. I had a meeting this morning with the company. They did exactly what I said they would, what I told myself they would do. I said, okay, call me at this time. Well, they actually said, can I call you at this time? I says, yeah, that works perfectly. Now, big companies are notorious for this. And ask yourself this, how do you fit in here? They told me, I'm going to call you at 10. I said, that works out great. I figured that gave me lots of room to work. They didn't call until 10:30, and I actually had to remind them. Big companies are notorious for making appointments and not following through. I am dead set against letting that happen in my world. Okay, so I've turned around and gone, okay, with the campaign, here's what these guys are up to. Now, I do have something they're going to be looking for. But they're the ones that are going to have to do something with it. The next campaign, the next day, which will be Sunday, I will be dropping a few things in their lap to determine what they're up to. In my world, where are we here? Lord Rebel Jack goes, yeah, I just about did that right. Yeah, I just about went Lord Yldrbac. I'm thinking that's not going to work well. You are absolutely right about that, but here's the kicker. Okay, yes, you can call it any name you choose. William Shakespeare put it this way: a rose by any other name will smell as sweet. And thank you so much, Jack. I appreciate that. As you can tell, I trip over my own tongue more often than I don't. But you design your life. Remember, you got to play by the rules of society. Again, 3 laws. These are the only 3 I ever follow. Be true to yourself first. My voice cracked. I'm going through puberty for the 2nd time. Okay. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Now, coincidentally, by the way, well, not really all that much of a coincidence, can't prove this, but I will tell you that was absolutely what was on the first set of tablets that came down off Mount Sinai. Now, you turn around. If you look at the 3 laws that I just listed, compare them to any of the laws you follow, whether they're ones you were taught as a child, religious guidelines, maybe they are societal guidelines, maybe they're because of a 12-step program that you went to because you were having troubles with addiction. In all fairness, most people going to things like AA and NA, Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, don't have troubles with addiction. They've got the addiction thing down fine. Okay, but if you look at all of those laws, all of those guidelines, including every religion I've ever looked at, you will find, if you examine it, and don't take my word for it, check it out for yourself. Compare it to the ones you follow. I do believe you will follow and find that every one of the laws you follow fit inside those 3. The advantage I have, I only have to remember 3. Okay. Now, with that in mind, I laid it out and went, okay, this is the rules of the campaign. But what I'm finding is that these guys' stats are so far off the charts. It's absolutely insane. Oh, here we go. Joe goes, speaking of God, okay. You pulled that back, so we won't go there. But that said, Joe, I am really happy that they did. Hopefully things work out the way you'd like. Now, I had a phone call today, and the company did exactly what I knew they would. Number 1, they were late by half an hour. These are the people that are supposed to be helping with my website. Good luck with that. So I've decided something very simple. I'm not waiting. They should be calling. I should be in contact with them tomorrow. I doubt very much I'm even taking the call because I don't see the point at this point. But you want control over your life. Now is the time to get it. Okay, or more to the time, now is the time to claim it. I'm going through my filing cabinet over here. And yes, in that filing cabinet, I've got things being laid out for the game. Okay, because I came to the conclusion, lay everything out, and then let the gamers actually decide what they're going to do. But your life works the same way. You were born with a list of tools. Okay, now the campaign I'm working on, I'm going to be having the bunch of them, the 3 of them, trying to track down, and if you're a gamer, you'll recognize this term. Okay, I'm going to have them track down the rod of 7 parts with the explicit instruction that you're not to put it together. Okay, because the rod of 7 parts, as gamers will recognize, will point you in the direction of the other parts. But these guys are going to have a direct explicit direction. Do not put it together. If they do, there will be consequences. Probably not good ones. That's why they call them consequences. This will give them a goal, an overall goal in the campaign. When they get that done, that way it's got an absolute, this is the way to know the game has reached its peak. I don't know how long it's going to take them. That's going to determine and depend on them. Okay, but I've laid it out, and then just to throw a wrench into it, I've designed another group to try to interfere with them and run and really harass them on the way. Now, here's where life and gaming come into balance. They become a mirror image of each other. I've decided with the tools I've got, with the way that my world is right now, I am building an empire. I'm building a publishing company to start with. I'm not waiting for any of these big companies anymore to tell me how. Okay, I literally am turning to you guys and to other people I know to get ideas on how best to market. Now, as far as I understand it, starting to just getting an account on each of the available social media, and just talking to people and saying, "Look, I've got this book available. Here's what it's like." Okay. I figure if I do that, all it really boils down to, marketing boils down to, in my understanding of it, and that's pretty limited, a question of visibility. I'm not spending another plug nickel on these companies to go, "Oh, we'll handle that for X dollars." No, you won't. Your past record has proven this beyond a shadow of a doubt for me. So you desire control over your life. Decide what you're looking at. Are you content with your life as it is? The next campaign boils down to, you are where you are right now in life, and you're all in the same point, right here, right now. How you got from here to where you are now is variable, and all of you have probably gone down different roads. Lord knows, I hope none of you went the road I did. Okay. But your next campaign is to take a look at where you are right now. Okay, everything up until you hit the live stream today. And you look in the mirror and go, "Am I content?" If the answer is yes, stay on the path. Joe's just letting us know the Catholic priest called me back this morning. We had a great talk in all, but it's on me to attend one mass with my dad and confession this Sunday to get those mortal sins away. Oh, let me ask you this, Joe. Just a thought. Okay, now something to clarify. Okay, let's just clarify one little detail. I am myself I'm actually a licensed minister for the Universal Life Church out of California. Okay, let me ask you this. In your eyes, Joe, and no, you don't have to answer this. This is just for you to think about. I'd love to see the answer, absolutely. But in your eyes, have you done anything against your own moral structure, or against your own belief, or against your own word? Okay. Have you done that? Shadow, have a great night. Glad you could join. Glad you could join us. World Bigfoot, how we doing? Glad you could join us. Where are we? World, yeah. Sorry, don't have a starship this game. Sorry, I'm God. I don't need no stinking starship. Where are we? World. Here we are. And this is the link to World's live stream. Absolutely drop in on him, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up, do subscribe to the channel, and then share the daylights out of it. Now, what do we got? Yeah, and again, World goes on live on Sunday, 8 p.m. Central, also known as 6 p.m. Pacific. You're more than welcome there, world. But you desire to change your life. Okay. You look in the mirror and tell yourself quite literally. Okay, quite literally. You look in the mirror and you go, yeah, well, that is going to have to wait. I'll have to contact them afterwards. But literally look in the mirror. Okay. And you literally tell yourself, I am the creator of my own life. You may not have been the creator of your own body. If you believe in God, no problem there. Okay. He's the one responsible. But you're the one that's got free choice, free will, and no freedom from consequence for the way your life evolves now. Okay, we're all in exactly the same boat, but you desire your life to change. Okay, you're the one that gets to control it. So now is the time to do that. And what I've done is gone, okay, the major companies have turned around and said, this is what we're doing. Now, I know I'm not doing enough publicity for the stream. I know this. And again, that's my doing. The fact I'm sitting at 547, I'm quite content with right now. And let's just see what it's doing. Okay, it fluctuates, but it's going to grow. There is no question there. I'm going to be, and I've got to talk to somebody. I know technology is not my cooperative benefactor here. So I've already got my son looking into online education regarding computers because it's time to take control of my life. Okay, I've got the filing system worked out. I've got my office desk is completely cleared so I can function. But let me ask you this. Is your life evolving the way you desire it to? What I've had to do in order to get the game, to get this new campaign running properly, is go, okay, you've got your character. I'm leaving them sit the way they are. But I'll be rolling whether or not they make their thieving rolls, whether or not they get their perceptions. Okay. And I'm just not telling them what AC is. They've all, and I've done the same thing, because we tried making it easier for the game master. Okay, we tried making it easier for the game master, so you take up some of the slack. Unfortunately, it really created a problem. Yeah, Jack's going, needed a break from the rat race work. Semper Fi there, Black Dragon, glad you could join us. So now what I'm doing is going, okay, I'm going to control these things because, yes, they're random rolls. But the problem is I'm seeing way too many times where people are fudging their rolls. Okay, and I don't mean covering them in yucky chocolate. Well, yucky to me. Not a great word. So what I've done is said, okay, I am now changing, I'm changing the way I'm handling that side of it. Primarily because of the fact I'm tired of so much being tilted in their favor, it becomes way too easy for them to get ahead. Okay, and realistically, let me ask you this, guys. If you're doing something, do you want it, if you're playing a video game, do you want it so that every time you do anything, you succeed? Okay, do you prefer a life, or would you enjoy a life where every time you went to do something, it succeeded? You do realize, world, you do realize that if you've got a dice tower, or never mind with a dice tower, you cannot accidentally cheat. Okay. Yeah, and this is exactly what I looked at, Jack. If everything went easy, I would, life gets boring. It really does. Same applies to gaming, same applies to life itself. So I've turned around and gone, okay, I now have on my computer desk right now, I've got 5 months, 4 months, no, 5 months of my newsletter, Positive Perspectives, on my screen right now. Now, granted, it's covered by this video, by this stream. Okay, I'm writing them all at the same time to make absolutely certain from this point forward they're being done. I would like to think, I mean, it does seem, Jack, Jack goes, why do you think we're here? For a challenge, pain, and heartbreak. I can do without the heartbreak. I really can. The pain, not really happy about. The challenge, that I now am looking at it going, it's going to be so much more rewarding for me to turn around and go, okay, I've tried every venue to get help from the so-called professionals, the so-called corporations that theoretically are there to help. The moment somebody says, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, hang up. Okay, because I'll tell you, that ain't the way it works. It's a great thought, and you can get pulled into it really fast. It's like the drug dealer that goes, hey, I got some drugs that'll make your life really good. Yeah, at what cost? Yeah. Hey, Jack, if you're not as ticked as life, you just haven't had enough to drink. Do not go there. Bad idea. But I'm no longer mad. I got off the phone today going, okay, so you're as useful as a screen door on a submarine. Now I'm turning to you guys. Absolutely, the support I've gotten in this stream, in this room, has been mind-boggling for me. Okay, and any ideas you've got, yeah, I got weed, I'm cool. Any ideas that you've got for enhancing my marketing, enhancing the things that I'm putting together to make it more profitable, that would be great. Okay. Yeah, it really would be helpful, because I'll tell you, my turning to the so-called professionals ain't happening anymore. Now, I was pleasantly surprised. I've complained periodically about a bit of a fallout with my little brother. Fortunately, we've made some headway on that one. He contacted me the other day and he goes, let me know where you're standing and we'll sit down and see what we can do to put things back on track until the estate comes clear. But I have to put some very definitive boundaries myself. I hate cooking. I really do. And I go out way too much because of that. I know this, but I'm making the choice to go out. Am I going to sit here and tell you, gee, I spent too much money at the restaurant? Oh, guys, it's your fault I went out. Yeah, no, it's not. It's mine. Okay. In this world. Okay, the campaign I'm running is now, and by the way, a couple of other little sidetracks there. Okay. Hey, Jack, all you got to do is become an author now, and then you can be, and then we'll change the initial a little, and you can be RR Jack. But, the reality of it is this. Pick the direction you desire to go. I'm looking at it going, yes, I've got a lot of things I desire to accomplish. I have started writing you guys asked for an interactive book, for an interactive story. It's being started. As a matter of fact, I got 3 of them being started. Okay, that I am looking at putting together. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And where are we? Nathan, here we are. And we go copy. This is the link to Nathan's live stream. And here we go. So, drop in. He comes on Saturday at 9 p.m. Central, also known as 7 p.m. Pacific. Now, that said, Nathan, this is directly to you. I am, yeah, well, this is directly to you. On Saturday night, assuming my energy doesn't tank completely, I'm planning on coming. I'm going to be in your chat room, and we'll see where that goes. Okay, yes, I've gotten really crotchety in my old age, and I don't have tolerance for a lot of the stupidity I'm seeing anymore. But I'm also not interested in waiting around for it anymore. So, now at this point, the campaign I'm running, I've got 3 different gods. Basically, what I did was this, and you'll love this one. Okay. You take a look at this. I've got gamers at the table. I've got 3 sets of gods. I've already laid them out. Well, 2 sets of gods of 3 gods each sitting at a gaming table. Each god lined up with the characters. Okay, both the characters on the player side and the characters on the competing operation. And the gods are going to start doing things. They're gods, so, well, did I bring any? No, I did not. And since I didn't bring the figures down, we'll call this a figure. Okay? And I know gamers have seen this. Use dice for laying your figures out. So you're there, and in the middle of the game, your character gets picked up from here and put over there. Just because one of the gods goes, I don't like you where you are. So I'm going to move you over here. Okay, and let's see what they do with it. This is just one of those twists that I'm throwing because the way I figure it, life takes a bit of a scrambled turn on occasion. They're going to get the pleasure of trying to figure out how to operate with it. So that's where that is. And like I said, I don't know entirely how long the game's going to take, but I do have a definitive point where the end of the campaign will be reached. And then they can figure out what they're doing. If they decide to go on with it, we'll figure it out then. For the moment, I'm not worried about it. But a couple of things I'm doing in my next campaign, the next leg of my life, is building this empire. Okay, I will be going and figuring out how to monetize this stream. I will be going on to onto the various different social media, modifying my profile, or more to the point, updating it, and starting to push the marketing side to generate an income. Now, my little brother, yes, we had a bit of a falling out, okay, because he was doing some pretty stupid things. But there's no denying whether we had a falling out or not. He has a phenomenal mind where it comes to manipulating numbers. So we're going to sit down and sort things out and see what we can work with. Now, where it comes to what I'm doing in this world, the newsletter is going to be pushed. It's time to get it out moving. Okay. And the reason I'm working on 5 months at the same time is to get the articles written properly. Okay. And then as soon as I figure out how to deal with the ISBN numbers and the actual copywriting for people, then I will turn around and start going, okay, guys, send me your poems, send me whatever. Tomorrow is Wednesday, which means tomorrow I'm going to be phoning a notary public to see if what's going to cost me to get them to draw me up the necessary paperwork to start taking on poems to get to work on the poetic anthology. So what do I got here? This little thing here has information for me. What I'm doing is looking at the notes I made that you guys asked about. Where are we? I know where it's all written, but that's okay. Okay, so ouch. That just about didn't work well. So now what I'm looking at is this. I'm building that. The books are, we're on track to get things done right. Here's the good news. Where it comes to the races of the worlds, I've got 59 races to do. And like I said, if I do one a day, I'll have it out by the end of November. I've already got 8 of them done. I think it's 8, might be 10, but I think it's 8. So they are being worked on consistently. I'm done waiting for everything else. It's time, and it's time for you as well to really take your life in your own hands. Okay, and start making the changes. Yeah, that's why I said there. That's why I said there, Jack. And this is the book I'm referring to. Okay, Races of the Worlds. This one is 59 races, each of which I've personally dealt with face to face. You get to figure out if I'm off my nut or not. That's still up in the air. Although, I've got 3 professional psychiatrists that have all been trained to spot whether I'm off my nut or not. All 3 of them have said the same thing. You're perfectly fine, mentally speaking. Black Dragon, I have tried that before. Problem is I keep eating the deck. Which makes it really hard to actually do it right. But the one that book is already out. The one coming out by the I will answer that question for you in just half a sec there, Joe. The second printing with the pictures and added information, I'm going to have out, and I've given dates before, and then promptly put them on hold because other things got in the way. I'm no longer interested in anything getting in my way. Okay. So from here on out, when I said I'm going to have it out by the end of November, I will be working on it and pushing to get it done. That's one of the big jobs I've got when I get done this stream tonight. Joe, you asked, when you were an ordained minister, did you ever have to give confession? I confess all the time. I did this wrong. I did it wrong in my eyes, but do understand. Do I hear people out? Absolutely. The intriguing part is the Universal Life Church. I can walk into the States, and with that documentation, this I haven't done, but according to documentation, the Universal Life Church is recognized in the United States. It's not recognized up here, but it certainly puts people's minds at ease when they phone me up going, "Oh, I shouldn't be talking to you because I'm a Catholic, and it's a sin to talk to a tarot reader." I'm like, the best tarot reader I ever met, best trained one, bar none, was literally trained in the bottom of the Vatican. He literally had the Dead Sea Scrolls in his hands. Okay, this is what the church tells you is a sin, talking to a tarot reader. So, it's a sin, and we're going to train people to read tarot. Talk about leading people into the den of iniquity. But yes, I have had people dump their entire life path on me and go, I've sinned about this, and I've helped them look at it and go, no, you really haven't. You're actually doing things quite well. Okay. And I'll tell you, there is little that compares to being able to point to somebody and say, hey, I know you think this went sour, but the reality is what you did worked out very nicely. Okay. Do I still do that? Certainly. Am I still a firm believer in God and Jesus? Probably more so than most people. And yes, you're going to love this one. I have literally sat down and talked to what you consider God. Okay. Way more to that story, but I'm not going into it right now. But what I've decided at this point is this live stream will not become charged. There are some people that get to a certain point and go, oh, I'm charging membership and you have to pay to get into the archives. No, you don't. This I do for free. Questions asked here, I do for free. Okay, do I do private consultations, business and or personal? Certainly. And those, I've dropped my price from over $2,600 an hour, which I have legitimately been paid, down to $80 an hour, or more to the point, $20 for 15 minutes. Speaking of which, I have not heard back. I know I sent a letter to him, but I haven't heard back from him, so that's okay. But the live stream and the newsletter will remain free in perpetuity. I've got no interest in charging for it. Same as when I do get around to opening the charity. You'll love this one. That charity that I keep talking about helping people with. I was going out for lunch. I'm getting out of my car, and I see this couple of young girls, 16-year-olds, coming out of the dollar store with a balloon saying 16. Right. I looked at the two of them. I says, well, somebody's having fun today. The brunette looks at me and looks at the other one, points to the blonde and goes, it's her birthday. And so, happy birthday. And I said, hang on half a second. Pulled out a $20 bill and gave it to her. She looked at me and she's like, what's this? I said, go have fun. Consider it a birthday present and don't worry about it. I said, this is just me. Okay. But I'll tell you, the way that she all of a sudden lit up was absolutely brilliant. Definitely well worth the $20. Okay. Now, for me, that was just making somebody's day a little better. No, I am not a multimillionaire yet, but I do have the superstructure laid out for my business. Okay. Where it's geared up to handle my making $1 billion a month. Yes, I know that's a great big number, and you'd think I'm barely making ends meet. You'd think looking at $1 billion income is setting my sights kind of high. But my dad was very clear about it. Set your sights on the stars. Shoot for the stars. You may only hit the moon, but you're still you're still higher up than you were. Hey, Black Dragon. Anybody ever tell you you've got a real heavy-duty affection attachment to bacon? Right now, ultimately, I don't care where people live. Okay, to me, where people live, what their background in is not a major concern. But I do have to have an income before I can pay anybody to do anything. Whether you live in Canada, whether you live in Australia, in the middle of Siam. Siam doesn't work. I'm not even sure what that's called anymore. It's now called Siam. No, it used to be called Siam, I think. Oh, I think that was Taiwan at one point, or is Taiwan now. But what I'm looking at is this. I am looking for people that are willing to help turn this world around. I'm no longer interested in this idea of, I have one guy phones me up and he offered his services. I said, okay, look, I'm not in a position to pay for anything that I don't know is working. And he turns around and goes, well, if you want to know that my services really work, just buy my services and I'll prove it to you. It doesn't work that way for me anymore. I've already spent thousands of dollars on people that have claimed to be willing to be able to do things. Without exception, it failed. And I do mean, I shouldn't say without exception. I've got a printer in town here. I ask her to do something. She goes, here it is. Top quality, no problem. Okay. So I turn around. Oh, I forgot I got to do that. That's right. But I look at the world that I'm in right now and go, okay, I desire to make a mark on this planet where you, as the consumer, as the person tapping in, can walk away from this stream feeling like you're a little bit more energized. There's some sort of hope in this world you can deal with. Okay. So, I mean, this is just one of the venues I'm going down. The books and what have you that I'm working on, I am going to start not publishing them. They're already published. But I'm going to start posting literally tonight to start driving my own sales up. Truth of the matter is, I paid thousands for somebody else to do it. It's cost me thousands and netted me virtually nothing. My guess is if I do the work, at least then, if nothing happens, it's not costing me money, just time. And any suggestion you guys have, absolutely let me know. Same as if you've got a project that you'd like to see get off the ground for you. Bring it up and we'll see what we can do about pointing you in the right direction. Okay, and by the way, no, you don't have to be a millionaire to point somebody in the direction of getting their own money in balance. If you want to know how to be a millionaire, I'm not the one to talk to because I'm not a millionaire. Okay, but there's lots of books out there that tell you how to make money if you've got $40,000 or $50,000. This is fantastic. Great. If you got $40,000 or $50,000, best of luck to it. I don't. I've had that once in my life. When my parents passed away, I ended up with over $100,000 in my possession. Okay. It's locked up in investments right now, and I will end up getting it back. That's the same way I am there, Jack. It's like I've told people, I desire the best of the best. I don't need a great big house. I don't need a fancy car. I did buy into the idea of, hey, I don't like the color of my car. Oh, what an idea. Let's go buy another car to get a different paint color. Bad idea. Didn't do it. I did require a car that I didn't have to worry about mechanically because, well, I'm no mechanic. If I find the oil cap, I did really, really good. Okay, I'm comfortable with the idea of the gas tank. Nice, Joe. See, I was a little more rude than you. Ow. Yeah, as a kid, that wasn't always the way that worked. You got gas, you got to let go of it or you blow up. Thank heavens they didn't actually smoke inside the church when I was going. I actually went to Sunday school for 13 years. I think the last two of it I actually taught. Okay. So it's not like I'm not versed in what's going on. It's just I don't care to discriminate and tell people, oh, because you don't believe in this exact God, you're less of an individual. No, I believe the term was love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay, in other words, be nice to each other. That ultimately was the message that was brought years ago, centuries ago. It's the same message I'm bringing back. Be nice to each other. Those of you that have the ability to stand your ground, to get ahead, help those that are hindered. Again, this does not mean pay their way. This means help them understand how to pave their own way. This is why I tell people, if you're having trouble with your finances, absolutely talk to me. I will explain to you in simple details how to take your money, your income, and with your effort, you get to get your freedom. You'll notice the you thing. Okay, this is just, and for me, it's just common sense. This is why I say common sense. I totally ignored, by the way. Yeah, unfortunately, Jack, NDE folk do when they come back saying it was all a lie. You don't have to go. I mean, most of you will go to either heaven or hell because you've been told that's where you're supposed to go. So here's a neat little kicker to it, and I've been given permission to tell you this because when you die, you're going to forget it anyway. If you feel that you're a bad person, if you're guilty about anything in your mind, you're going to hell. Okay, but here's the kicker. You're only there until you realize you don't have to be there. Okay, once you realize that, you're free to go. Same thing is when you go to heaven. You go to heaven, wonderful place, really soft cushions, really, really, shall we say, boring elevator music, a lot of sitting around, just talking, being nice to each other, which is great. There is no arguments permitted in heaven. You just don't. Everybody gets along. Okay. But when you realize you're not trapped there, you can leave. Okay. And I've witnessed this with people walking out of hell, people walking out of heaven, people waking up having realized that, yeah, the coffin that you believe that you're supposed to be in for all of eternity until your body drops away, and then Lord knows what's supposed to happen to you. You're only there until you figure out you don't have to be. Yeah, the funny part, the only question I got for you there, Black, is when you made the cabinet. And well done. I wish I had the ability, but I just frankly don't have the interest or the coordination to work on. But when you made the cabinet, when you started making it, was there already an agreement in place that she was supposed to pay for it? Even if it was just a verbal agreement. I'm not talking anything written down. And it really is simply a curiosity question on my part. But from my standpoint, if the agreement was there, then her going, I don't want to pay for it, well, fine, take it home. I'm certain you can move it on to somebody else. But the judge made the right call. Okay. I watched the judge do that and end up yeah. Yeah, and at that point, Black, she didn't want to pay. You're right smack in the right. There is no room for argument there. I love what the judge did. Him chewing her out and going, okay, you've wasted my time. Not only are you paying your legal fees, you're paying his. There was a situation. I actually talked to the guy that got pulled over. He got pulled over for speeding. The cop was being a bit of a jackaninny, and he turned around and told the guy, "Can I see your pilot's license, please?" Well, the guy was a pilot, so showed him the pilot's license. The cop took offense to it, and charged him with charged him. No, you misunderstand. The cop ended up giving him a ticket. So the driver goes into court, and the judge goes, "Did he ask for your driver's license?" The driver goes, "No, he asked for my pilot's license." And the judge goes, "Well, did you show him your pilot's license?" He goes, "Yeah." "Can I see it?" "Certainly." So he sends the pilot's license up to the judge. It was a current pilot's license, right? The judge looks at it and goes, he never asked for your driver's license. The driver says, no, not at all. So the judge turned around, looked at the cop and goes, you want to waste my time by bringing somebody in on charges when you're not even doing your job right. You're paying the legal fees out of your pocket. The department is not picking it up. The driver got away scot-free. Let's face it, yes, he was driving too fast. But he was not, the reality is there are reasons for protocols. So, I mean, this is why I say you must follow the laws of the land in which you are. In my case, I'm going, okay, I'm building this whole way of looking at things. And with assistance, I'm going to make it happen. Yes, I'm going to have to turn to so-called laymen, people like you guys, to find out how best to go about marketing, how best to get the word out. Because clearly the people that are so-called professionals are not interested in actually doing what they say they're going to do. And I'm not interested in paying any more money. I'm figuring rough estimate, $30,000, which by the way, for me is a year's income, or was a year's income, to get nothing back in return just doesn't work for me. This does not mean I'm stopping what I'm doing. Quite the contrary. Okay, I am going to be putting a list together. Well, I've already got a short list that I'm starting to look into merchandise and that sort of thing for. Okay, but all I got to do at this point is really look into the ISBN numbers and how to make things copyrighted properly so people have the ability to do what they're supposed to and what they desire. But tomorrow, I'll be calling a notary public to get the legal paperwork so I can start working on that poetic anthology we were talking about. Okay, where we can get your guys' poems in print. Okay, and the way I've got it laid out right now, I was talking to my printer, and she goes, if you charge $20 for each poem and get that letter stating, yes, it can be reproduced in part or in whole as is, okay, then, and the person still retains the right, they can do whatever they please with it. Okay, with that in mind, okay, she goes, it'll work. So that's the route I'm going to be going. I just need the paperwork done first. And this whole idea of going, because what that'll do is it'll take your poem and or short story. The short story I got to work on, but the poems, it'll take your poem, put it into an anthology. And not only will you get it in print, I will send a copy of that anthology to you. That you're not paying anything extra for the first copy. Okay. This is just the way I'm laying it out, because from my standpoint, this is a service that is required and is not handled anywhere at any functional price that I'm aware of. Okay. Now, odd question. Of the bunch of you in there, and I would love to see it show up in the chat room. Do any of you yourselves, either yourself or people you know, do you figure any of you have a use or would put to use that kind of a deal to get your poem or their poem in print in their own hand? Now that's funnier than heck there, Black. That really is funny. I don't know if that's an opportunistic judge, but it certainly worked out well in your favor. Not only did your legal fees get paid, but the cost of your work got paid for. Well done. Now, if only everybody's success stories could be that good. Or better yet, better. But no, that is one of those neat little things. Yeah, your creative talents, Nathan, are clearly more on the technological side. I have one massive hiccup where it comes to the technological side. I'm partially colorblind. And my wife, I mean, look at this. I've shown you guys this before. Right. If I take both my hands, right, and this is the way they are right now until I relax concentration. Now, picture trying to do electrical work with a hand that does that. But I can control it to a degree. Well, actually, I can control it pretty solidly. Hence why I can paint with toothpicks. But being partially colorblind makes it really tricky trying to connect the right wires. You know, but this is just where I'm starting. With the campaign, I'm going to have a lot of fun with it now. Because next game I'll have it laid out. I already told the one player, I says, look, I says, you're a gambler. I will have a template laid out. So a couple of dice rolls, and it won't hold the game up, but you'll be able to make some money at it. Okay. But I've also got people running around that will quite readily steal things from them. Okay. Again, this is because, if I go, and what I found a lot of gamers do, and I've seen this for years. Okay. Sadly, a lot of gamers, especially the new breeds, in all fairness, will modify die rolls so they win. Okay. I'm modifying die rolls in my real life so I win. Absolutely. I'm taking a look at everything people have told me, especially the so-called professionals, and gone, okay, this is great. This is wonderful. This is what you're telling me you're going to do. I'm not giving you money for it. Period. I'm not paying another plug nickel because thus far, I haven't got what they told me they were going to do in the first place. And this is why I say, when I start putting out other people's work, I'll tell you flat out, I know how to get it onto my website or on any one of the websites. And I know how to do that side of it. And other than that, do your own flaming marketing. Okay. Whatever you sell of your own, knock yourself out. The only stuff I'll be getting paid for is stuff that goes through my possession. Period. And this is just one of the backbone aspects that I'm looking at. I've decided the way my life is not doing what I desire it to do. So I'm literally becoming the god of my own creation. This does not mean I think I'm better than any one of you. As a matter of fact, I do feel that we are all equal in that capacity. Just some of us have forgotten the fact you can do that. So now what I'm looking at is a world where it's time to reach out and time for us to really step in and say, hey, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, let me see here. I thought I saw something. So I'm just going to go in here and not that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got a newsletter from Buy Me a Coffee that I got to take a look at because I got to get that up and running too. The reality of it, and thanks so much for that, Jack. I look at it this way. Karmic law is easy. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. If you desire people to help you, where you've got the option, help other people. It doesn't guarantee you'll get help, but it does stack the deck in your favor. Okay. And even with, where did it go? I put it over there. I've shown you this, and some of you guys this before. This is why my database is completely 100% unhackable. Okay, because hackable means you're using a computer. There's my database. It's even really clearly marked, word of mouth. Okay, let's see anybody with a computer get into this database. Okay, there's internet security at a level that very few people actually know how to utilize. You know, the funny thing is, I had those sitting on the desk here and decided putting them out of reach encourages me to get up and move, which is kind of a necessary standpoint. Joe, coping with the hand sometimes is a pain in the neck. How do I stop it? Is literally mind over body. The actual term for it is psychocellular kinesis, meaning mind over the cellular configuration. And it literally boils down to I think about it and I slow it down to the point I can work with it. You know, so, and yes, I can and do teach people how to do that. I actually have pulled quite seriously. I guided somebody back from a coma after they went and the doctors had written them off. Okay, I guided them back out of a coma to live another 17 years. Another lass came to me, and her mom brought her to me. She was stuck in a wheelchair. As it turned out, for 3.5 years. Okay, 3 days. Like the doctors again had said, sorry, you'll never walk again. Yeah, we know you're only 17, but you're never walking again. 3 days of working on her. Okay, and I took her by the hand. I said, okay, stand up. Actually, in all fairness, it was the first day. But I says, stand up. She goes, I can't stand up. I said, how about if we don't discuss what you can't do and you simply stand up? So I said, if it doesn't work, you're still sitting. If it does work, you're standing. Well, believe it or not, you get the choice on that one. We guided her to her feet. And after the 3rd day of working on her, never again did she return to the wheelchair. Okay, does this make me better than anybody? No. It simply means that I believe wholeheartedly I am not limited by conventional methods. I am not destined or forced to go the route that other people seem to be. This is why I get ill. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to the doctor. Every time I go there, they come up with some concoction and go, oh, you're going to be ill for X number of months. You know, I had a rather annoying stroke. I call it severe because the stroke I had left me unable to walk, unable to talk. I think this is pretty serious. 2 days later, I was up and walking. 6 days later, I was out of the hospital permanently. Aside from going back for outpatient rehab. Now I'm taking this empire. Everybody, and I call it an empire now. It's already global. I've already got everything laid out to return 80% of my net profit to staff, contributors, customers, and of course, that necessary little thing called the government. 80% of my net profit will go where it has to. Okay. I don't, and this is even laid out, I can do this without even considering reassessment until after I'm making $1 billion a month. Okay. Now, if I'm making $1 billion in 1 month, this means I'm taking 800 million and sending it back out to the community at large. Yes, I know that sounds absolutely insane. However, if you think about that term, insane, you're in the state of sanity. Okay. I don't require $1 billion a month. Okay, I do require enough money to pay my rent. That would be nice. You know, but these are things that I've decided this is the way I feel a business should be run. This is the way I'm running it. Does it go against everything you've probably been taught? Likely. I don't see that being an issue for me. Oh, you know, in all fairness there, Jack, my opinion is that the greedy already have a real fine handle on how to be greedy. they haven't figured out that charging, like for instance, when I said I used to get paid, or I have been paid as much as $2,600 an hour for my consulting. I was charging a regular 180. And then just before lockdown happened, I turned around and went, I don't have to make $180 off of one person. Okay, I can, and there are way more people that are capable that can afford $20 than there are that can afford 100. So I figured, okay. And so ones that can only afford $20, I don't feel you should give, if you can do something naturally, I don't feel you shouldn't get paid for it. Okay. So I figured, okay, let's cut my price down, down to a level that I would be willing to pay. They get the service they're looking for, because I refuse to lie to people to make them feel better. That's just a flat out refusal on my part. And it's pretty much the only guarantee I'll give people. I'll guarantee I won't lie to you and make you feel better unless you ask me to. Okay. But, so I decided on that. And I had a client up in Edmonton. She was a real estate agent. She was having trouble selling a house. And this is back in the heyday, right? She was having trouble selling a house every 3 or 4 months. But then she was targeting people trying to sell a $500,000 home at that point. I looked at her, I went, okay, that's great. But target your low end. Target the people that can handle a rent-to-own deal of $150,000 a year, $150,000 debt on a rent-to-own package. I laid out the rent-to-own package for her and went, here's how you do it. Now, bear in mind, I am not trained, legally speaking. Okay. I laid it out for her. She turned around and followed it because she was going to lose her whole livelihood the way it was going. She did what I laid out. I am no real estate agent. I don't know the first thing about it to speak of. She turned around, followed the pattern I gave her. 6 months later, she was dumping a house a week. Okay. Meaning, at $150,000, she was making better money selling low end than she ever did selling high end. And it boiled down to, I found a loophole in the system and told her how to capitalize on it. I'm now in the process of implementing that exact same talent on my own behalf. And yes, this is why I say, when the books I've got out, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams, Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams, Believe in Your Finance and Follow Your Dreams. These are the tools I personally use. Okay, they are the philosophies and the outlook that I personally use. And that's these three here. Where are we? Again, and of course, since I've got that, we grabbed this. This is the email to work with. This email here, whoop, that's not the email. This is the email that you can order through. It works both directly to me and with PayPal. Okay, but these 3 books I've got in stock. These are the exact same tools I personally have used. This one tells you exactly how I went from absolute lack of self-esteem. I did not believe that my words, that my information was of any value, to the point I wouldn't even talk to my parents. Okay. Then you've got Believe in Your Business. And of course, the newest one of this series is Believe in Your Finances. Now, right now, I've got one on the go, and I cannot for the life of me remember whether I wrote and whether I got her to write it down as Believe in Your Job or Believe in Your Career. Okay, probably Believe in Your Job. Again, same idea. But that's the email that you can get a hold of me. Oh, perfect. Now, where are we here? This here is the website that I've got that is up and running. I'm going to be redesigning a whole pile of things, but that'll give you a list of the description of the books I've already got up, except the latest one. Now, where are we here? Okay, you're going to have to give me 30 seconds. You know, we run the 2 hours, yes. But usually I get to about the half-hour mark and run into a problem. Funny thing called a coffee cup has a hole. I'll be right back. Only half an hour left. And we are back. You know, certain things do get precedence. Okay. So I got my coffee. I'm good. Thank you so much for that, Adam. Welcome aboard, by the way. You know, I am absolutely tickled pink that they're working for you. You know, and this is a thing. You know, it's people like you that actually have bought the books and gone, yes, they work. That is one of those things that becomes really handy. Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, Adam, because I've got to start marketing things and I've got to start doing it. But the best way to do that is to get a testimonial from people that have already either bought the book, have bought the book, used the tools, or in the case of the novels, read them and decided whether or not they were of any use. If you guys are, if you guys have purchased one of the books and you like it, if you'd be kind enough to send me a quick little email with just a little blurb as to whether or not it worked for you, this would be extremely advantageous and very much appreciated in the marketing side of things from my end. I can tell you the tools work. Okay, what I can't do is tell you from somebody else's standpoint. Okay, which reminds me. Do I have? I got to check. Let's see, we go there. Go to context. Yes, I do have. Gotta get a hold of a guy that I haven't heard from in a very long time. The neat part about it is one thing that I was taught when I took business classes in high school. I was told very emphatically, follow the KISS method. Okay. Now, I've modified it a little. I don't use the term stupid. Okay. But the KISS method is keep it simple, silly. Okay. The way I was taught it was literally keep it simple, stupid. I don't like the term stupid, except for the fact that if you know better and you're doing it anyway, that's a stupid move. Okay. But I will tell you There was a bumper sticker years ago that literally said, "If you don't like the way I drive, stay off the sidewalk." I will tell you, run into far fewer cars on the sidewalk, but still not a good place to be. But when I set up this whole idea of the next campaign, take a look at where your life is right now. Your life has reached the end of a certain series of events. Now you're starting over. And every single morning, you're starting a new campaign. Keep that in mind. This is the time. The here and now is the only time you can change the path your life is on. Okay. I've got what I'm doing with the D&D campaign is I've got 6 gods, and I got to find out who's worshiping what. Okay. I've got 6 gods sitting around a table playing with these people's lives. Okay. Which is going to make it a lot of fun on my part, confusing as heck on their part. But I'm taking that and I'm utilizing that information and some of what they do to develop events in the Yldrbacian Chronicles, as well as to start laying out the interactive books you guys have directly requested. So yes, I am working on them. I'm not expecting the interactives to be out this year. That would be really rushed, and I would prefer not doing it in a rushed fashion. But I've got the templates laid out. Now I've just got to start working on them. And absolutely, like some of the stuff that I'm looking on with the way my life is, I'm not happy where it is right now. I'm absolutely appalled by the lack of support I've had. Jack, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I really do appreciate it. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next run. Until then, do take care of yourselves and of yourself. And for pity's sakes, man, stay positive. And yes, in all fairness, guys, somebody asked me about Halloween. I don't know what I'm doing about Halloween yet, but then I do know it's still 6 weeks down the road. So I'll worry about that as we go. One of the important factors that I look at is this. In order to make your life better, it's imperative you start working with the people you're in contact with. It's one thing to be able to move a bunch of, move a load. But with help, with support, with assistance, you can move so much more efficiently. Okay. Oh. Adam, I did not see it come in. So absolutely. Well, I think. Let me just check something here. Do we? Oh, there you go. Adam, in your case, okay, I did not honestly see it come in, and I have no idea how to find it at this point. But you can either send me a text about an email, or for that matter, once I'm off the stream, you can absolutely phone. I know you've got my number because, well, I've got your name here and my address. Any one of them will work. Okay. Personally, I prefer dealing voice. Okay, simply because there is so much that gets lost in text. But I will leave that to your decision. We've got another 15 minutes here maximum. No, 15 minutes is about what we're looking at. Okay, after that, I'm good and clear. I've got a lot of work I'm going to be doing, but that's just plain normal. Okay, I've told people I multitask. Okay, this live stream. Even here, you see me get up and do things and what have you. Heck, cleared off my whole bed yesterday while I was on the air because I had to have it done so I could actually get a nap. I call it nap. I don't call it sleep anymore because it's like I sleep for an hour or 2 hours, then get up. Absolutely there, Adam. I will keep an eye for it, and I will absolutely, as soon as it shows up, I will certainly tangle with it. The important thing from your end is this. If you're not content with your life, okay, with what's going on, now is the time to make that shift. Now is the time to focus on making happen what you desire to happen. Okay, do not buy into anybody that tells you you can't do it. Derek, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Okay, I know you missed the first. I don't know if you missed the first. I know you haven't been that you haven't been saying anything. But like I mentioned to other people, I am now directly asking people if you've bought a book and bought one of the books I've got and you enjoyed it, for that matter, if you didn't enjoy it, but if you enjoyed it, testimonial would be really appreciated regarding my, my marketing, because without exception, the professional companies have completely dropped the ball. And the answer to that there, Derek, yes, quite seriously, my day has been going rather well. My morning went fantastic. The afternoon, it went well, but quite frankly, I slept for a couple hours. Okay, so I'm not entirely certain I would call that going great. But at least it wasn't because I had a heart attack. Health-wise, I'm doing fine. But that said, I got to remember to take my heart medication when I get done here. But I have decided that it's time to start pushing the limits. Okay, it's time to start reworking things and really marketing properly so I can generate an income. I've got a 5-foot shelf here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 shelves, 2 feet wide, full of books in inventory. So everything that I've got listed, I've got them in inventory already. And I just have to go through. I did it one day the other day, took full inventory, and then promptly lost the inventory list. Lack of organization, I'm telling you, is a hiccup. Okay. But I've already started going through the figures that I've got. I've started painting them. I'm no longer content with my world the way it is. There we go. Derek goes, I'm still on chapter 10. Past few days have been hectic with my son's birthday last week. Mr. Ray is in the hospital with that is not the way to spend a day in hospital. Ouch. You are having a really rough run of people around you, aren't you? Derek is just going, where are we here? Mr. Ray is in the hospital with a broken hip, and his power of attorney shot and killed herself in front of her husband. Holy mackerel, talk about a bad run. I do feel for Mr. Ray. Yeah, Black Dragon is just going, best advice I can give is to know your worth, not just in what you do, but also with yourself. And I do not think I could agree with you more there. It's certainly one of the key components, which is why, and I've shown you guys this sign before. It's why this sign is of so much import to me. I am worth it. Now, this whole sign was done by literally taking a magnifying lens and the wood down to the park and burning it. I should have done some more on it this summer, but I got a little sidetracked with being unemployed and depressed. By the way, depression is a lousy excuse for not doing things, but it is a reality. I'll tell you, the power of attorney her husband is going to have, her remaining widow. Boy, that's going to make things rough. I do hope that Mr. Ray is not taking any blame on himself for what his power of attorney did. That would be really unfortunate. But absolutely, my prayers, my energy, my healing thoughts are with Mr. Ray right now, and certainly with the widow. Okay, as far as him dealing with what he's gone through. Okay, absolutely, Adam. When you call, like I said, I'm clear. Once I get done here, quite frankly, I will absolutely do the best I can there. Answering the call is the easy part. Just make sure I've got the ringer turned on. Well, I know the ringer's turned on because somebody tried calling me earlier. I'll have to give her a call tonight too. I've had a couple of calls I just totally ended up missing. Sometimes, Derek, killing themselves is literally what they came here to experience. And the people around them are literally here to experience the loss of somebody via suicide. Personally, I won't even bother trying suicide. But then I've got a personal reason for that. It's not that I figure I'll go to hell. I've gone there already. Hell is a wonderful place. Fabulous hot tubs. Way too hot for my liking. But I'll tell you, they've got deep tissue massage down to a fine art. But no, the reason I don't let myself get there. Oh, thank you so much, Derek. I do appreciate it. I am now on chapter. I've only got 30 pages left. I think 30, maybe 40 pages left for the Return to Paradise, which is the next installment after the end of an epoch. It's also the tie-off of the trilogy. And there's a whole lot of different things happening there. But, I mean, the thing with suicide is this. Okay, whatever your plans are, I will tell you, suicide interrupts them. It really screws up your plans for the physical world. Okay, now, the reason I don't, even when I'm in severe depression, I don't consider suicide is because my immune system says poison's just a waste of time. Okay, poison's just an absolute waste of time. And when I look at the other side of it, okay, my healing rate precludes anything but some pretty severe, some pretty extreme measures. The whole side of things. I absolutely love that there, Derek. Thank you so much for that. The neat part about it, from my standpoint, I enjoy writing. This is why I do it for hours at a time. But what's happening now is I'll take paperwork. This is the way it works. I grab a sheet of paper and I write it out. Then my next step is to have it transcribed. In other words, I don't try and type it all. I have it in my other half is also my transcriptionist. And she turns around, transcribes it to soft copy. Then I take a look at it. I expand it on the computer. Then we go through and edit it line by line to make sure internal consistency. And we're going back to make sure everything matches in books 10 and 11 as well. This is just the way my life is working. Okay. And this is, when I've got a whole bunch of different methods of doing things, but your world, now is the time to change it. Right now, you take a look at it. Whatever happened up to and including this split second, you cannot change. You can dictate which way your life is going from here on. Now, we are at the end of the 2-hour mark. And with that in mind, before I push things way too far, 2 major things. If you do like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. tomorrow is Wednesday, and we are going to be looking at, what is that? Can't read it that angle. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at, we're literally going to be looking at the plans I've got for the newsletter and that side of it. World is just letting us know I'm painting cavern scatter terrain right now. Giant glowing mushrooms. Fantastic. And from what I understand, if you're smoking the mushrooms at the same time. Dwarves. Thank you so much. Let me see what I did here. Where's my pen? Okay, what did we do? Okay, we're going to shift that. Okay, where are we? Derek, as far as the dwarves go, okay, we will tangle with the whole array of them on Friday, as in like 2 days here, 3 days? 3 days. I'm going to shift what I had listed down, but thank you so much for the reminder. On Friday, we will deal with the dwarves, with the different setups with them. So we take this and we just draw a line there and move it down to the 29th. And on the 22nd, in other words, in 3 days, we will deal with the dwarven culture. Okay. There are different breeds of them, or different races. Much like humans have different races. That is just terrible, World. World goes, do you know if you crossbreed a dwarf and an orc, you get a dork? That's why they don't interbreed. You know, I was thinking it was more like a gully dwarf that you ended up with. Absolutely no brain capacity. Okay, and yes, one of the things I will be letting you know that we will cover on Friday, on top of the fact that we're covering Derek's going to take a picture of I'm not quite certain how that's supposed to be pronounced. But, you know, what he's written is going to take a picture of pool in 1 second. Don't know what that was supposed to say. I'm guessing that's a typo. That's what we're after. Okay, looking at it now. Holy mackerel. That's your pool, I take it there, Derek. That is a phenomenal pool. You know, myself, I used to be a really good swimmer. Okay. After drowning, I found that swimming really didn't hold a lot of interest for me. But that is a real nice layout. Very well done. You know, now I am going to bring this to a close. Derek, if I ever get down that way, I will certainly make an effort to do so. Right now, travel is a bit of a problem. Frankly, I'm more concerned with making sure I've got rent at the end of the month than I am about trying to travel anywhere. I've had to actually postpone my trip down to Texas for the same reason. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to have to call this night. Well, I'm choosing to call it night. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me, guys. I will be back again tomorrow. Okay. Assuming I don't die. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.